I think both sides are being intransigent at this point. I think China feels like they can wait this situation out. They have a ton of reserves. They have a very compliant citizenry. They're riding a wave of nationalism at the 70th anniversary celebration of the foundation of Communist China. And I think that they're not willing to give up any of the big moves that the U.S. has been demanding in the past.
Do the president's domestic political troubles, if they've elevated to that level, does that make the Chinese more confident?
I don't think that impacts their confidence. I think they're already riding a wave of confidence, celebrating the achievements that they've had over the last 70 or in particular the last 50 years, really puts them, I think, in a strong position from a nationalistic point of view, and they're brimming with confidence already.
I guess some people were struck by Chairman Xi's quote that there's no force that can shake the foundation of this great nation. No force can stop the Chinese people and the Chinese nation forging ahead. As I think back, those words, you could substitute the phrase United States, and those words could have come out of the mouths of multiple U.S. presidents as well.
I think that's right. I think it's a China first policy that they're putting in place. They've shown that over the last 15 or 20 years, really stepping away from the global war on terrorism and focusing on building their domestic capability as well as extending into the South China Sea. So I think anyone who's been following China for the last 20 or 30 years recognizes that this is just a continuation of a long-standing China first policy.
And you've been one of those people, David, who's been following China for a long time. And so when you hear people who are advocates of standing tough on the U.S. side in the trade war, and they say things like, China's economy is weakening much more than the United States. They are suffering more than we are. I mean, what do you say to them? What do you think they are missing? Because that seems to be the refrain, that they are paying the price, a deeper price than the U.S. is right now, and therefore it gives us the ammunition in this.
I believe that they are feeling greater pain, but they have more capacity to absorb that pain. They don't have to worry about elections. They don't have to worry about people turning against the government as the economic pressures become stronger. They have a deep commitment to furthering China's growth and extending China's rise. It's been, as we've seen over the last 50 years, and they don't have to worry about domestic politics. So the very compliant citizenry, control of about 70% of the domestic economy, and $3 trillion of foreign reserves put them in a very strong position to absorb that additional pain.
So what should the U.S. do? What should investors do?
The U.S. should get together with all of its allies around the world, Latin America, Europe, and Japan, as well as the North Asian allies like Korea, and talk to China about a longer-term initiative to dampen the negative impact of China's inevitable rise economically and politically on those domestic economies. We have to do this in a multilateral fashion. The U.S. taxing American consumers to try to change the behavior of a foreign country is simply not going to work.
Is it your thought that excuse me for interrupting you, but is it your thought that the president may soften his trade stance vis-a-vis Europe because he knows things are going to get really tougher with China?
He may recognize the need to bring those allies back into a coordinated approach to China in order to find some sort of resolution. I don't think we can continue to swing such a blunt stick around of all of our trading allies and partners around the world. I think we need to start being more strategic and thoughtful about how we're corralling our allies in order to face the larger issue, which is China's inevitable rise economically and politically.
All right.